Okay, we're live.
Yay.
Wonderful. Hello, everybody out there. Thank you all, so many swaths of people, for coming on such short notice to Reading Sprints. I see so many of you in the audience. Thank you so much once again for coming to our live event. We are doing some reading sprints. We are going to just read for a little while. We'll have a little timer going, and then we will come back and chat for a bit. So let us know what you're reading or what you're doing if you want to spend the time doing something else, any kind of productivity time or something that you're doing. We're probably not going to sprint super long tonight, but we are very appreciative for everybody who is here, and let us know what you're doing. Also, I am joined by Julia.
Hi.
So, this is Julia.
I am here. Yeah. I'm excited.
OMG, hello.
The tables have turned.
Yeah. The tables.
I'm excited to be doing reading sprints because I literally was doing productivity sprints earlier with another friend. Not live, just like the two of us. So now my living room area is very clean and I'm ready.
Beautiful. Were you doing like cleaning during the productivity sprints?
Yes.
For other stuff? Oh, okay. Oh man, next me and Julie will do sprints. The Holy Trinity.
Exactly.
Are you looking at Low Dogs? Is that the guy?
I have to remember.
Don't me with a good time. I'll be there.
Yeah, don't. Please. I'll be there also. I'll be let me inside.
I do like that.
And then we point and laugh at you.
There it is. Man, I thought it was study.io, which is the
isn't it the like little aesthetic one?
I thought so, but
I think if you just Google aesthetic Pomodoro timer, it should come up.
Aesthetic Pomodoro.
Oh, studywithme.io.
Oh, study with me. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was literally the first one that popped up. So perfect.
Okay. Gotta know the right catchphrase to search.
Okay, we're not going to immediately start sprints. What is Matthew doing over there? He is playing RuneScape with his brother. So, and we're also enjoying
There's still a lot more
some more Honey Grow. We split one. So this is a late dinner.
So it's a late dinner.
It is pretty late. Darian said hi.
Yes, we did. Hello.
He says hello back. All right. I'm going to share my screen just so we can figure out what we want to do for the reading sprints so everyone can help choose what we like here. Okay, so we have Aesthetic Cafeteria, which looks like this. We have Aesthetic Cafeteria and then a bunch of other options. Any of these jumping out to anybody?
I can't see the list.
Oh, you can't? Wait,
no.
It's not. Oh, hold on. Wait. Really? Oh, okay. All right. I will read a few that seem interesting. How about Tokyo Sakura, which looks like this.
Ooh.
All right.
Pretty.
We have Dark Academia, which looks like this. Very dark and moody. Perfect for my read. Dreamy Clouds, which looks like this.
Oh, that's the one I use.
Oh, I like this one a lot. Let's see. Nighttime Countryside.
Oh.
This has got to be from, not The Cat Returns, the one before that. Oh, speaking of The Cat Returns, Bandit just jumped into the shelving in the wall.
Okay.
Let's see. Aura? Oh, actually, I
don't
like
what is the P guy?
Soul Sunrise. What? Remember when I met him? I do remember. Choose the one with the guy peeing. Pee guy.
I don't think he's peeing.
Is that supposed to be this one? He does kind of look like he's peeing. Ooh, well, if we have no objections, I have no problem with using this one.
Pee guy it is.
I don't know. You're right. 90% could be peeing. 10% could be something else.
We have no evidence that he isn't peeing.
That's true. If this was like a full like front view of what he was doing, might be different. All right. How about timing? Let's vote. What are we thinking? 50
Whoa.
minutes, 45 minutes,
True.
35 minutes.
I
Where is
like-
David Tran? You are so right. Where is he? Come here, David.
Yeah, we need his iconic input in this moment.
We need I miss reading sprint bots. They were my favorite part of sprinting, is just having somebody show up and just go, Merry Christmas from David Beckeresis. And then just post that
Okay.
over and over and over and over again. Where this country, we've changed so much.
Times have changed, I tell you.
Why?
Things aren't like they used to be in the good old days.
Not like they used to be. Okay, I'm gonna say I think 50 minutes is a little long given
Yeah.
how late it is.
Yeah.
Do you think like 30 minutes?
I'm cool with
35
the
minutes?
30, 35.
30?
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
Let's do 30.
It's long
I
enough
like
to
it.
get into it, but not too long.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Do we have anything else to vote on? Sound. Oh, all right. Let's see. What kind of a alarm sound do we want? The bell
Oh,
and like peaceful.
subtle, yeah.
I kind of like that. Chime. Whoa. Okay.
Louder.
Birds are chirping. Okay. Lo-fi. What do we think?
Kind of like the whatever the first one was.
The bell.
It's like the
I think
only
that one
sound
too.
that probably won't make me jump.
Hello.
I agree with that. Okay, let's do bell. I'm happy with that.
Sweet.
All right, we'll get 30 minutes of this guy doing what he's doing, and then
It's
a
gonna
while
take
of us
a
doing whatever we're
long
doing.
pee.
It's gonna take a long time to do what he's doing. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'm
Now that we
familiar.
figured that out,
I'm
what are we reading?
somewhat familiar.
I have the one, the only, the book I've been reading for like 3 years.
Oh,
Storm of Swords.
oh,
Yeah.
you have been reading that one for
Oh.
a while.
Yeah, no, I got like a third of the way into it, just like soft DNF'd it because I was bored of all the men. And then I
Yeah,
took it on
I'm pretty
vacation with
solid. I don't
me
even
and
know
have
if I
read
made
like
it
another
before.
third of it now. And I'm like,
Long
oh yeah, it's really good.
Like,
Oh,
when we run in.
so
just
wait,
like,
how far are
you
you
know,
in now? Out of how
big
many
ticket items
pages?
I get, but if there's any,
I am on page
smaller ones,
722.
Okay,
Uh,
that's so many pages,
yeah, that's really
and you're
solid.
not done.
Of 1,128. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Actually, I am realizing I don't think I've ever read a book that was over, I think like 500 pages, probably.
That can't be true.
I think probably.
Have you read like Priory?
Oh, I have read Priory. Okay, wait,
Priory's
that one was
huge.
800 pages.
Yeah.
That one was like 832 pages or something like
500
that.
was such a small estimate to be like, I've never read a book longer than
Okay,
that.
I will say Priory was an exception to the rule, so I feel like that almost it counts, but it almost doesn't count. Like it's definitely not my norm. But for most other books, like all the Brandon Sanderson, like super thick ones,
Yeah.
I have not touched those at all.
Yes. This is also an exception for me because I don't read fantasy books by men. So
That is true. I feel like with how many buddy reads we've done, I feel like I'm getting that.
you saw my reaction to The Shadow of the Wind, and that was
I
hardly
did.
even fantasy.
That was very minimal magical realism stuff.
Yeah.
And that was a lot. I never touched Jonathan Strange either. After
And that's
your-
written by a woman. Still the same energy.
Ah, not
Ugh.
good. Not
You
good.
dodged a bullet with Jonathan Strange. That book was
I do feel like you were the only person who was like excited about it. And I've only heard people be like, I don't like it, it's boring, it's bad, like for whatever reason. Like
I can't even
don't read
believe.
it.
I feel like I see it everywhere. It has a mini series. Like, it's just like boggling my mind that all this time people have hated it. I thought it was like a popular book.
I don't know. Well, at least I mean, from my very like small scope of people who have talked about it, which is definitely like just a handful of people on BookTube or something.
Mhm.
I just feel like it was not loved, at least.
The feeling is mutual.
It could happen. Rachel said, I didn't even know there was a number that big. That's true. I was like, 500 is it. And you were like, what about 800? I was like, no, that's not possible.
Be there.
Absolutely not. Oh my God, guys, remember? Do you remember when I got demonetized because of Party Time? I got my copyright strikes because of Party Time.
No, it was worth it though, wasn't it?
It was worth it. It was worth it. Oh my God. That was when we we watched 3, or at least we talked about like 3 different Titanic movies.
Mm-hmm.
All of that. Man.
Yeah.
That was a time. That was a time to be alive. That was one of the most fun sprints I think we've ever done, ever.
It was so fun. Remember,
It
what was the
worth it.
octopus thing?
Should we watch it again and get copyright strike?
Yeah.
Wasn't that? I thought that was like, it was an octopus with the face of a dog.
Yeah, it looked like a
And it was-
puppy.
And it was huge. And it like grabbed the Titanic and then it sunk the ship. And
Titanic
that happened.
octopus. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You found it?
His name is Tentacles.
Yes! That's it. Also, we never acknowledge that is the craziest name for anything.
I can't.
Oh,
Yeah, that's him.
Hold on, I'm going to
That's her.
spotlight you.
It's
Yes.
you
There they
can't
are.
see it at all.
You got to do the influencer hand behind it.
Oh,
There it is.
tentacles.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
Why does it look like that? Yeah, why did they give it that nose? Like a puppy dog nose.
Oh, my God.
Have they never seen? There's a Titanic wiki that has its own page.
The Tentacles has its own page?
No, it literally says Tentacles is the giant octopus from the 1999 animated Titanic film, The Legend of the Titanic. He has a dog's nose and is very friendly.
That's all technically true, I guess.
Yeah.
He was in that movie.
They wrote it.
Oh, my.
Wow, but the Titanic wiki is like everything. So it's like
Oh, should you wait to
the
freeze it?
good Titanic movie, but also
good
like
and the bad.
history and
okay.
also the animated Titanic movie.
Wait, that's insane. We put all that together.
I mean, it does all fall under Titanic, so you
Oh,
got me
that's
there.
Titanic. That's true. Also, Darian is reading Just for the Summer, which is Abby Jimenez, right?
Oh,
I believe.
I think you're right.
I think that was the one
I'm
that
looking.
Darian has not read yet by Abby, but she really liked the other one.
Let's see.
Books by her, and what is that one? I thought it was Just for the Summer, but it's not. It's the other one that came out kind of recently that I think was in her like very close to the top like titles of 2024. I'm trying to remember which one that is. Abby, yours truly. Thank you so much. I don't have to
Okay.
Google anything. Yours truly.
Nice.
Yeah, that one sounded very fun. I feel like I've been really shying away from romance for a little while, but I'm starting to get back into like wanting to read romances. So hearing about this one, I was pretty excited about it.
Yeah,
Sounds very
probably
fun.
should be good.
I have been only having good luck with romances that other people don't like as much. So apparently
Oh,
I have a
really?
weird taste. Yeah.
Okay, wait, like what?
Well, it's not like people like hate them, but it's like I'll try to read a really popular one and I'm like, what is this? And then I'll try to read just like a random one and I'm like, what a great time. Like I loved Happy Medium by Sarah Adler.
I've never
That was
heard of that one.
great. It's about a girl who is a fake psychic medium who
Okay.
her client is like, you need to go exorcise this ghost out of my friend's house. And she's like, sure, because it'll make me
Like,
money. I guess.
yeah.
But then she shows up and her friend is like a hot 30-year-old man. And he's like, ghosts aren't real. Get off my property. And then they have to reconcile their attraction for one another through this crazy scenario.
I like that kind of a premise where it's just kind of like two people randomly meet
Mhm.
and events unfold. Like, you know, I do also enjoy the ones that are like centered around other like tropey things that I've read before, like things that are like, you know, these two people don't like each other. They're on opposite sides of the bride and groom at a wedding, but they have to make it work or something. Like I love those types of, you know, stories too. But I also do really like the ones that are just like, I don't know, like I'm randomly like working at a thing as a freelancer, and then the person that I'm working for is the same person. I guess that's Swift and Saddled or something, but that's the one where it's like I think they kissed in a bar, and the next day she finds out that her client that she was freelancing for is the same guy from the bar. And they're just like,
Okay, that's just
so
Pretty
did you
Little
want
Liars.
me to build that bar or not? I don't know. Adds to cart. She's sold.
It's
We
so
have another
fun.
happy customer.
Her next book that just got announced is called
Mhm.
Wild Goose Chase, and it's about
Okay.
a girl who she's
Swan
I
song?
forget, she somehow obtains like this possibly illegal stuffed goose, and then it gets lost, and she and the like antiques guy have to go find it together.
Wait, I love that.
Isn't that the dumbest, craziest thing you've ever heard? I can't wait to read it.
That actually sounds perfectly up my alley. I would love that book.
Yeah. And her announcement, she was like, get ready to learn about the like some kind of law from the 1800s about birds. I'm like, I can't wait actually.
I
Tell me.
cannot wait. I'm gonna add that to my to be read shelf.
Yes.
Wild
Spreading
Goose
the
Chase.
Sarah Adler gospel.
Who is this by again?
Sarah Adler. Sarah with an H.
With an H. Okay. Okay, it's not showing up on Storygraph. Oh, because I
haven't
typed
seen
in
it on
Wild
Goodreads yet either.
Ghost.
It like just
Wait.
got announced like a couple days ago.
Oh, okay. Well, this probably okay.
Okay.
I'm really struggling here on Storygraph where I'm just writing like Wild Goose Chase Sarah Adler import. No,
Okay.
no.
You mean when the three's from north and south, or
Don't do
when
that.
2 and 3?
What? Oh.
Let me. Please don't do that. Import.
Okay.
I'm trying to adjust to using Storygraph
Mhm.
because I want to give it a try, and all the graphics are so fun and everything. But I don't know what I'm doing
Okay,
entirely.
Gotcha. That
Yep.
makes
It's a little bit of a
sense.
learning curve. It's not that bad, but it's just, you know, I'm figuring out where all the buttons are and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got to relearn stuff. It's hard.
Yeah.
I DM'd you the thingy just so you have it for
Oh, perfect.
posterity.
Darian says, I'm using 3 different sites now. I need to be stopped. What's the third site?
Too many. Fable?
Is it Fable? That's what I would think too.
Or what's the other? There's something else. I don't know.
You just talked to the guy. Resign.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, it is Fable. Yes, Fable. I didn't know you could
Even
track
through
books
the
the same way.
controversy.
What's the the what was that, like the wrap up thing,
Yeah.
right? That Fable was doing. That was interesting. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's
It's a lot of like the dangers of using AI and untested AI at that stuff.
mhm.
Plus, I have 2 spreadsheets. Actually, you know what? I do track everything on my spreadsheet for the most part, and that is
Yeah.
like my bread and butter, like my main spot. If I don't update everything else, I can always use my spreadsheet as my source of truth. And it is color coded. It is beautiful. It is like the main thing that I always use for tracking stuff. It's just so much fun.
I love a spreadsheet.
Yeah, I am.
I think my TBR spreadsheets even more than my like tracking spreadsheet.
Oh yeah, because it's the possibility of like,
Yeah.
what will I read this month? And then when I'm doing my readathons, what will match up for each one? Which,
Exactly.
speaking of,
Doesn't make.
I mean, I love the
fun.
planning. The planning is a totally different hobby than the what did I read.
For sure.
But I decided to finally try doing the. Wow, I just lost the name. What's the one that Kayla does?
Oh, the buzzword.
The buzzword, yes, the buzzwordathon challenge every month,
Yay.
which is why the book that I'm trying to read for the month of January's theme of Truth and Lies is Verity by Colleen Hoover.
Follow now.
So I was like, what better time to pick up this book that I've been dragging my feet to try for like 6 months, where I got it from the library and I just kept being like, later, I'll read it later. Ha ha ha. So
Very intrigued to hear how it goes.
I'm very excited to just see what it is. She's not just a pretty face. I read this as she's just not a pretty face. I was like, what does that mean?
How dare you?
This is true. I heard this about Fable. Like they obviously like responded to everything that happened. And they were like, we're canceling what we did. Super sorry. And that's good. I mean, like companies should be responsible in that same way. So LOL, imagine. Well, here we are. We could never.
Unrelatable.
Unrelatable. Okay, so shall we jump into a reading sprint? A 30-minute one?
Sure, with our peeing friend.
Our
I
friend
can't
taking
unsee it now.
taking his time for sure.
Yeah. He's got a UTI, this poor guy.
This poor man. He's got to see the doctor.
Yeah.
There he is. Let me see. I think. Yes, I have a little banner. Okay. So.
Sorry, I just got really bad work news. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, I missed one.
I hope it's not terrible.
Oh, just that I'm understaffed, and now, effective February 1st, I'm losing another teacher.
No, that sucks.
Oh.
I feel like every time we do sprints, something wild happens at work for you.
Why would you send this on a Sunday night?
That is actually heinous. I'm very sorry.
Well, that just ruins everything all the time. Okay.
What a good way to like start off our sprints.
Yeah.
And the work week as
That
well.
felt good.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Okay, well. On that note, let's read.
On that note, let's do what we can. So, as we mentioned, we're going to sprint for a little while for 30 minutes. If you just joined us, let us know what you're reading. Oh,
do you use any
just like that?
Anything on Flow?
Just like this. This is exactly a perfect demonstration of what we're looking for. I'll be reading There by Tommy Orange and co-working. I actually wanted to pick up There for so long. And I totally forgot about that book. So maybe this is the year I'll do that. So let us know if you are reading or doing anything else during the sprints, but we are going to get started with our reading sprints, and then we will come back to you after the 30 minutes and take a little break and chat. So we will see you then.
Sounds good. Hello.
Hello.
How'd you do?
Gotcha. Okay.
Not bad. Let's see. Well, I don't know if I'm actually 23 real pages or ebook pages away or from the beginning,
Okay.
but I don't know. I mean, I think I'm somewhere in chapter 2 at this point. So it's been
same thing
good.
here.
I feel like the writing is not bad. Like I thought it was going to be not good. But it is, I don't know, like there's not a lot of like subtlety to the writing. A lot of it is just being like, I wonder what he's thinking. And the next sentence is her being like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, all right, like I guess, like, but a lot of it is just kind of repeating itself a little bit more than I would enjoy for my tastes. But
Sure.
there was like a very shocking scene to open the book. And I think, honestly, I barely really know like what this book is really about, but I think we're having like the pivotal meeting between the two main characters that are, you know, at the focus of the book.
Okay.
So
Juicy.
juicy stuff. Interesting. Have you read Verity before?
No, but I'm pretty sure I've watched like a spoiler review of it.
Gross.
So
Okay.
say whatever you wish.
Well, all I know so far is, well, let me see. What I think Verity is about is there's
And we
a young
do we all
woman
stand here
who
to
I guess
start?
now I'm realizing is an author and a different author. And I think the other author is writing a really big deal of a book, but it's very secretive and nobody gets to know about it. And then somehow she gets to be ingratiated enough in his life that she can maybe read the manuscript and find stuff out about it. But then there's all these very like intense, twisty, thrillery things that are happening by being involved in his life. And
Okay,
I think there's some infidelity. And then there's a big shocking twisting ending that nobody ever saw coming. And it's such a good book, or it's the worst book you've ever read. That's what I know about it.
That sounds about right.
I don't know if any of those are slightly incorrect facts, but I'm trying to go to this book not knowing that much about it. So I am fine being a little bit wrong about the premise and then being surprised later. Because I think sometimes I know too much about a book and then that somewhat changes like the experience for me because it's not what I expected.
Well, yeah, especially for a thriller, I feel like you need that sort of like one little thing that you know to get you interested in the story, but then it's like, okay, don't tell me anything else.
Right, exactly. I think like sometimes, you know, anything that I read about the book could very easily just be like, yeah, this happened 60% into the book. I'm like, well, don't tell me anything then.
Yeah.
Rather, I just don't know. How did you do?
Yep.
Good. I read a chapter and started another chapter. So it's like 20 something pages. But now I'm in a Jon Snow chapter, so it's boring. Jon Snow chapters are boring.
And do I drop it again?
What are you at now? Like almost page 800?
No, almost 450 or 750 numbers.
Oh, okay.
I went 300 pages back because it was so boring. Yeah, I also, it was like a very distracted read. I kept like, you know, thinking of that email and like how I was going to preemptively try to problem solve at work. And then I'm like, no, focus on these words. So,
yeah. It stinks whenever you get something like that, especially on like a Sunday or any weekend, and you're like, well,
that one. Oopsies.
Really, me like thinking about how to solve the problem is work, and now I'm working.
Yeah.
Now,
like
just
straight up. And it's literally like I could think in circles until the cows come home, and I have no way of fixing this problem without more teachers.
Right.
So,
exactly.
So I literally just have to hire people, and that's not working. Okay, because I already have technically 2 full-time positions that I could fill, but now a third.
I have.
Great.
I guess I just have to clone myself and work in all the classrooms and then also do my job. That's the solution.
That's what they want. You gotta wear a lot of hats.
Yep.
I feel like teaching is probably the number one job off the top of my head I would think of that cannot be done simultaneously with other work.
Mhm.
Like, you know, the whole like, well, you have to do a little bit of this job and a little bit of that job and a little bit of it's like, I don't think so. No. It's more than a full-time job,
Yeah.
if you ask me.
Yeah, I
A lot of prep
I have spec.
to like get ready for things and everything too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it is very intensive. But I'm happy to talk about what you want to talk about, but also I'm hoping that this can be a little bit of a respite for you
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah. So back to Game of Thrones because I can talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm trying to remember. So, did you watch the show / read any of these books?
I haven't read any of the books, but I watched 4 or 5 seasons of the show, and I haven't finished
Ooh.
yet.
Okay,
But I
so
plan to.
Feel like because I have to figure out. Hold on, let me search one thing.
If you go,
Which Game of
if you
Thrones
stay
book are you
close to
reading
her too
again?
long,
It's
This
that
is
will
Sword.
the
get hit.
third. Okay, so I stopped watching in season 5. And I feel
Okay.
like the events that
Yeah.
I'm reading about are getting closer and closer to where I stopped watching the show. So it's very interesting for me to be like, oh yeah, I remember this plot point, and ooh, this will be coming up for this character. While also being like, okay, but when I get to what's after this, A Feast for Crows, I'm like, do I know any of that? And I know there are some character things that are different in the show versus the book.
I have heard that they're really
Oh.
different. You get to a certain point and then it just diverges because the show writers just did their own thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I wasn't sure like at what point in the series that happens. I just know that, you know,
Are those spiders?
it was
basically
definitely a
instant
matter
kills
of
if
just
you get
being
hit?
like, what should we do, George? You have anything for us? And just being like, no, I don't.
Best of luck,
Figure it
fellas.
out.
And I'll tell you what, they did not figure it out.
Yeah, that's
So bad. I got beef.
Yeah, I've been told like, you know, you're in the good part right now in season like 5 where everything is still good and you can still be happy and you can still enjoy the show. And then
Respectfully, what show are these people watching? Because even the
Right,
good
you know,
part of
right?
the story, I'm like, it's bad. Like I just had to re-experience the Red Wedding. It's bad over here, okay?
well, I
like
guess not in terms of like it's a good time, but like the show still feels well written enough that you're like,
Feels
I'm
coherent.
inside of the plot and like I'm trying to figure out what's going on and I'm still deep inside of it before you get towards like the last 2 seasons and then you're just like, what were we doing, guys? We
Yeah.
lost the plot entirely and I don't know why we were allowed to adapt this in the way that we did.
Mhm.
Let me catch up on comments as well.
Yeah. It
because
is
I do
almost
wanna
just
hear
wild
how-
that they were even allowed to like do the TV show before the book series was done. Like, why wouldn't you have? I mean, like, I know it's like, why wouldn't you just wait? Oh, what, 20 years? But at the same time, it's like,
I don't
why
know if they knew his writing pace at that point in time or what, because maybe they were just like, yeah, he'll probably write it in time and like we have time to figure it out. It might not even blow up. And the show immediately blew up and they were like, okay, now we were on a time crunch. We got to figure this out.
Yeah. I mean, it's like kind of, well, okay. It's decent in that, what did we say? Like season 5 has events that I have not gotten to in the book yet. So it's like, okay, they managed to do multiple seasons with like the first couple books. Like that's solid. But then also once you start the show, well, then you're like, well, we have all these children who are already playing older or playing younger than they even are, and time is only moving forward.
And we don't have enough content to figure out what we're filming. I mean, it makes sense why they were like, we got to just figure it out.
Yeah.
Also, everyone in the comments, let us know, or I guess in the chat, let us know how your sprint was. Let us know how much you like or don't like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
would
reason
for
I
any other
stopped
comments.
watching was the death of one specific character that I don't think anyone else truly cares about.
probably can.
But it was the final straw for me. I was like, actually,
No.
I'm leaving.
This is just like the 100. This is
Yeah.
exactly the 100 for you.
Yeah,
Oh man.
straight up.
Hello, Pam. I will be working while you sprint. I hope that it's
Yeah,
nice and
I'm happy to do that.
non-stressful
Is it a
working.
big
during
difference
the
between 3
sprints.
and 4 people?
What are we both reading? I did answer this, but
Like,
I will clarify that I am reading Verity while Julia is reading
I'm reading.
A Storm of Swords. Hello, just joining. I'm so happy to open YouTube and see you sprinting. Oh, well, thank you so
Yeah,
much
just-
for coming.
Just some damage.
OMG Verity. This, yeah, I'm excited to feel that way, one way or the other. I stopped watching at the end of season 7 because I always liked binging and heard bad things about season 8. I still don't know how it ends and didn't get spoiled for the ending everyone hated.
Whoa.
So did you
That's
like
impressive.
season 7 and then decide not to keep going, or did you
Oh, do I have to
feel
accept
like
you guys still? No, you're in it.
the end of season 7 was like conclusive enough that you could be like, I'm going to stop? Because I feel like there must be like some kind of cliffhanger that they give you
Yeah. They're like
leading
always
into the next thing. But I did hear that the last maybe season and a half was starting to slough
Nice.
off and people were not enjoying it as much. But yes, I will say I feel like I've been spoiled for the end of Game of
I'm
Thrones,
good when you are.
which sucks so bad because it's not really like people told me like in person, like, oh, remember when this happened? Like that never happened. It was when I was reading books and then people would reference in the book like something that happened at the end. And I was like, that came out like 1 year ago. Why are you talking about that in your book?
That is diabolical.
It was awful. I still feel so salty about this. I remember this happened with one of the books that I was reading like in 2020 or something like that. And in the book, it was just like, you know, this is a picture of mental health representation, such as when this event happened at the end of Game of Thrones. And I was like, you literally just said like, here's the Game of Thrones season finale, which came out literally 1 year prior to when the book came out, I'm pretty sure. And then it's just saying like, here's what happened, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I can't believe. So I was like an audiobook. I skipped ahead a little bit, which I never do. And I was like, okay, that was not what I wanted to hear, but I guess we're past that chapter now. And then it would just be like, and also in this other scene where this happened in Game of Thrones. And I was like, stop, like really stop. Like, oh my God, you want to talk about it with somebody, get on Reddit or something. But don't bring this into your book. Anybody could be reading this right now.
Yeah.
And I still was only on like season 4 or something like that at this point, having like waited for the whole thing to finish and then be like, maybe I will eventually watch this series and then getting into it. And I was like, this is not nice. Don't spoil TV shows in your book unless you are the source material for the TV show.
Yes.
Don't do that. That's not right.
I can't even believe that. And like, I can't believe it passed through like editors and no one was like, hey, we should put like, by the way, we're about to spoil the ending of a very popular TV show before saying what happens.
Nothing. They just were like, no, we'll just do whatever we feel like. And I mean, there were other parts of the book that were also just very sloppy where I was like, this has never seen an editor's desk.
What book is this?
Ever. I gotta remember what it's called. What was that called? It was something about like fairy tales and disability. Oh, Disfigured.
Oh my God.
Fairy tales, disability, and Mock DeLuc. Oh, Making Space. Oh.
Mock DeLuc. What'd you say?
I was like, what? It cut off Making Space to Mock, and then the last name is Amanda. Her name is Amanda Leduc. And I mean, there were definitely like parts of the book that I thought were helpful and meaningful, like talking about like how come we always see like these really disfigured people as the villains in the story, or like somebody does something in a Grimm's fairy tale and then they're punished by basically like getting a disability, but if they're good, then the disability goes away by the end of the fairy tale, and like there's a lot of problems there. So it definitely talked about things that I thought were meaningful, but weirdly enough, like peppered in between were just things that were like, I really like Princess Kate.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I just really like her. Okay, like I don't really see why that's relevant.
Not sure why we're talking about that, but thanks for the information.
I don't know. And it would just be like, she's a real princess. Look at her heels. She has the best outfits. I love her hat. She looks so good in this one photo shoot. She's a real princess who just was like so pretty and then became like, she just was like, you know, not a princess, born a princess, but then she married the Prince of Wales, and now look at her. Isn't she so great? I love her. And then it would go back to being like, let's talk about the Little Mermaid in detail.
It's so weird, though, to be like, and by the way, like, external beauty doesn't have to do with internal beauty. Look at how pretty Kate Middleton is.
Literally.
Like, what?
It was so bizarre. It was so strange.
Yes.
And then also just, oh, by the way.
Annoyed about in Game of Thrones, so full circle, really.
Oh, well, see? I don't know. There were a lot of odd things in there.
Okay.
Chrissy said, no, I would always binge the season after it all aired. And season 7 did end on a huge cliffhanger, and I was excited to see how it continued, but I waited till all of season 8 had aired before I watched it. But it was getting so many bad reviews that I just never watched it.
Dang.
Man, I mean, I feel like people, I've heard at least from friends, they're like, you know, you like Game of Thrones right now? Great. You shouldn't watch the last season because then you won't like it anymore. Like, I mean, Matt and his family used to like watch Game of Thrones and like get excited and like cheer at things on the screen. And then by the end, like having watched the full season finale, now he's just like, I used to love that show and now I do not even want to watch it. I don't want to watch the spin-up. I don't want to watch House of the Dragon. I don't want to watch any of this stuff.
I don't even want to recommend it to people.
He doesn't even want to recommend it to people. He doesn't even like it. It's not even good anymore. So I feel like I'm still at a point where I'm like, I like this. And like, you know, certain characters didn't make it and it's still like making me feel bad and not just like we're, you know, doing whatever we feel like or however. I mean, again, I don't have the full ending spoiled from that one book / I think a couple other books that this is happening as well. But I feel like I have like a general hazy picture of things that they did not do well in the last season. And I am worried about that. So I have been told to pretty much do exactly what Chrissy did. Like watch and then stop. Do not proceed. Do not pass go. Leave it alone.
Yeah. It's, well, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm still trying to like place the timeline between the shows or the show and the books. Yeah.
Yeah. But also one of our friends has read all the books and said they were good. So I think if you just keep going with just the books, you'll be fine.
70,
yeah.
And enjoy it.
Because if I made it through the first 2 and they're all this size, like clearly they're not bad, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't have any bad feelings because I never finished it and I'm glad to live my life in inherent bliss.
I respect it. Way to go.
I respect it so much. Honestly, this is the way I feel about almost all media that I consume. And I'm like, I like this. And I just don't keep going. And I'm like, it's fine. It's all right.
I kind of do the same thing, but opposite. Like, I'll watch a show and be loving it. And then I'll just like stop after like 2 seasons. And I'm like, that way I know if I ever want to watch a really good show, there's more of that show that I love. It's still out there.
All the code.
I think that's like the same. Maybe that's like similar to how I'm feeling too. Because a lot of it is like, you know, if I read a book and I know it's part of a series and I liked it, I'll stop because I'm like, well, I don't want to be done yet. Like I get to live inside the bliss of the story before it ends and then it's all wrapped up and then I never get to see these characters again. Yeah. And the same thing with like a TV show. I mean, a movie I will finish because it's one sitting. Right. But a TV show, I do that so often. And I feel like I've been always wanting to like get better at actually finishing things. Like when we did the Fantasy Series book club, everything was like, we read the whole series, which is good. mostly, but sometimes people were recommending like these like 16 book long series, and I was like, guys, we are not going to finish this for over a year and a half.
That's crazy.
Because we probably will take a break in December or something, and I don't know. This is a very long time to be in this vampire world.
Yeah.
We got to figure out if we all want to do this.
Yeah, what if you read 3 of the books and then you're like, I hate it here? Like, then you have to read 13 more? Ugh, that's my nightmare.
Man. It could be tough. It could be tough. Yeah, but I do feel like, it's always like, in January, it's when everyone's making their resolutions and stuff. So this is also the period of time in this year where I feel like I want to be better about actually finishing stuff and like enjoy the end of the series or, TV show or whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure most of the time the author did a good job finishing what they started. Maybe not on Game of Thrones, but at least
that's not George's fault though. George he does his job.
Yeah, right. Like on the TV show end,
yes,
things went downhill. But most of the time, I feel like books have some kind of grand conclusion where at least you'll have some feelings about what happened.
Yes.
Which means 2025 may be a year of high emotions for me. I finish every series I've ever read.
True though.
would be pretty intense. I don't feel like I have a running list of series that I'm in the middle of though. I'm just gonna have to figure it out.
I
from
figured
somewhere.
I was just dying.
I don't know. Yeah. Do you have any other series like other than Game of Thrones that you're in the middle of right now?
Oh, so many. Oh, absolutely. I think actually the example that fits with what I just said about TV is I still have not read the 3rd book in the Winter Night trilogy, the Winter of the Witch or whatever. Both of the first 2 books, 5 stars. I love them. I still haven't finished it.
Forgot that there were more books than the first one. Actually, no, I knew there were 2, but I thought the 3rd one didn't exist for a while, and I like very recently found out that there was more.
It's been out for years. I just keep putting it off because I'm like, it's going to be so good. I want to save it for when I'm in the mood for a great book. Anne of Green Gables, I've been in the middle of that series for years.
That's a series?
Yeah. Oh, there's like 7 or 8 books. There's a ton of Anne books.
I thought there was one book called Anne of Green Gables.
Well, the first book is the best book so far, so. I don't know what else. There's also, it's hard to say too, because there are things like historical romance where I very specifically, I'm like, I really don't care about your series. I'm going to go where I like the tropes and like what things I enjoy. And then if I love that, I will look elsewhere in the series for other ones that catch my eye. But I'm not just going to go chronologically through a historical romance series. It could never be me.
Well, I do feel like things like that, like in a romance series, often are very forgiving for like jumping around because like as long as you don't mind having the couple spoiled, which I feel like there are no spoilers. Like basically you read it and they'll be like, after Samantha and Tim got married in the last book, now Samantha's best friend is trying to find love with George. And you're like, all right, I know what's happening.
Yeah. I love that. And actually it works out in my favor usually because I'll be reading like the 3rd book and then we'll have the interactions from the couple from the first book because it's like, oh, it's a fun little Easter egg. Everyone loves that couple. And I can decide based on those scenes. I'm like, do I feel like I care about them or should I never go back and touch their book?
I feel like every Easter egg romance scene is a nothing scene. Like I've never read one and been like, wow, I want to know their story. Because it's always just them showing up and being like, we're here. It's Easter. And we brought a basket. Baby. Yeah, like here I am with my baby. And I know that you care because you definitely read the last book. So see you later. You can stay in my apartment while I'm going to France for Easter or whatever. And then they leave. And then like main characters of this book are just like, okay, never mind about them. Our story. And then very occasionally those people will like pop in just to be like, he's obsessed with you. You need to be with him. I don't know. But no, he told me. And I'm like, they're gone. Like, there's no point in having these people other than for them to just play like the tokenized best friend character that you just need to have in the story. And they don't actually do anything. And I don't know, but I also never like enjoy having like the best friend character. And like, I almost never am like, I didn't like the book, but I loved that side character. I just am like, I didn't like the book.
80% of contemporary books that I read, I'm like, girl, dump your best friend. This is not your friend.
Yeah. I feel like so many of them are so awful. Yeah. Or like it's their sister or something. I'm like, dump your sister. Because they're really not nice at all to you. They're awful.
She's a bad seed.
I'm trying to remember what that book was that I...
All Frozen.
What was one of it was an Emily Henry book, and it was the one where the two people are in writing.
Oh, Book Lovers.
Book Lovers, yeah. I hated her sister so much. You picked
the only one that I read. Good job.
Amazing. This is our synergy that we have here.
I mean, yeah, her sister was just like annoying.
Her sister was just like, I decided that I'm going to be the problem. And you're going to solve all of my problems for me because we're related, and I will never feel bad about it at all.
Except Nora also
Chris
feeds off that. Like she liked it. She was like, "Oh, I'm solving everything."
She was like, "Oh, I need to do this because I need to be helpful to the family."
Yeah.
And like, you know, take care of everybody and whatever. Ooh, but I don't know, like that always rubs me the wrong way when I'm just seeing someone like basically be taken advantage of and then it's never addressed in the story where they're just like, and now she's happy. Okay. And nothing changed in our family dynamic. And it's just like, well, maybe you should write a book about that because that's a problem.
I think the whole...
That's why I just, the first book that I finished this year is Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills. Which like everyone read like 6 years ago and they're like, it's so cute. And I was like, this girl is ruining her own life. Like the main character, literally every conflict she caused, like it was all her fault. I was like, I can't, it's exhausting to be in your point of view. Like imagine straight up the guy that you have a crush on looking you, well, first of all, inviting you to homecoming. As a date, and then looking you in your face and being like, I really like you. And then telling the boy that you like, I only see you as a friend.
Why?
Why'd you do that? You like him.
Why?
Exactly. Why'd she do that?
But
because
and the end?
Because she was afraid that he would stop liking her. That's her logic. Yeah. Our girl has never heard of better to have loved than and lost than never loved at all.
She's playing hard to get.
I'm also ready.
She's playing the only thing I get.
Impossible to get.
I know, genuinely. She turned him down so hard that later he was like, I'm sorry if I made you feel uncomfortable. I guess like you never really flirted back with me. And she's like rethinking about all the times where she was like, oh, he really was flirting with me. And I'm like, oh my God. Can't stand you.
Oh my God.
It was painful.
Foolish. That's foolish.
Yep. It's just like the title said, foolish.
Foolish hearts.
Just one heart was really foolish.
One heart, real foolish.
Gideon was just a sweet boy doing his best.
It is so frustrating. I feel like every time I read a series and the protagonist is just not compelling because they're being a dumbass, there's no hope. Like, there's just not a chance I'm going to enjoy that book because I can't live inside their perspective if they're going to never acknowledge the fact that they're being stupid. Actually, no. Even if they're like, I'm so dumb and I'm like, okay, work on yourself and then we'll write the book because I don't want to read about you being like, I'm doing the stupidest things known to anyone. And you as the reader need to watch me do them and then be like, I'm so dumb. So you're self-aware.
Yeah.
You continue to do the worst things possible. Like,
thanks for
please figure this out. I don't know. There's a difference between being like the dumpster fire, like hot mess person. Like, I feel like around college age is when like that often happens, and then you're just kind of like, I'm doing all these things and like it's chaotic, but like we're living with it and like we're figuring it out and we're coping or whatever. But then there's the other kind that's just like, I've decided on purpose to make bad decisions, and I'm just so quirky because I'm bad at stuff on purpose because I won't acknowledge what I'm doing. I don't know. I feel like I'm taking up very like specific shots here, but
no, it's very real. It happens a lot because, like you said, there's like, yes, characters should have flaws. It would be very uninteresting if the main character was like, and every decision that I make leads to greatness and I'm perfect. And like, that would be a terrible story. Of course they need to have flaws, but it's like, let's pick and choose our battles here. Like maybe be like dumb, but you're graceful and you're intelligent. Well, you can't be dumb and intelligent. But you're like,
well, like street smart
and you're caring and you're whatever. But it's like, we can't just have every struggle all at once because then it's so frustrating. And I just hate, this is like just a me thing in general. I really like conflicts that are like outside problems that characters then have to work together to solve.
Yeah.
And a lot of books, especially like contemporaries and romances, have things where it's just people refusing to talk to one another. And so they cause their own problem. And I'm like, let's get some emotional intelligence. And you know, it'd be more interesting if maybe you wanted to be a couple, but there are other things that are in the way of that. Like that's
there's something that prevents this from happening right now, or like, you know, some external force that you need to deal with first before you can just be like, and now we can just be happy. And that's it. For example, The Hunger Games.
So
which
true.
We just finished my reread of. But you know, like that's something where it's like, obviously you have this very like interesting love triangle between Katniss and Peeta and Gale. And it's sort of like, well, you can't, like in the first book, Katniss can't be like, I'm going to be with Gale, because she's literally not there. And she's like, I'm going into an arena to die. So like, I don't expect to have a romance. I'm trying to stay alive. So no matter who I pick anyway, I don't see why that's relevant. I'm trying to stay alive, and that's all that matters. And then in the second book, it's like, I survived just barely, but everything about the Capitol is still trying to kill me. So I don't really need to like fall in love right now. I'm dealing with my own stuff. Like stuff like that, where you're not like, we won't talk to each other, and that's the problem. Even though that book has like a little bit of that, where like they try to talk and they do try to communicate, but things are not going like the way that they originally thought. And, you know, obviously, again, many outside forces, things don't, you know, go as smoothly because there are worse things happening going on. But it's a good example of something where you're like, you know, these are people who feel like fleshed out. They're not like, I'm bad at everything. And, you know, that's the thing that you're going to love about me, is that I'm so quirky by being bad at stuff, number one. And number two, like, it is something where people like try to communicate, but that's not the major conflict of miscommunication. Because I feel like that is the most hated romance trope anyway.
Yes.
Of just two people being like, I like you, but I can't tell you. And instead, what if we just fight all the time about it? And then wouldn't we be such a cute couple?
I DNF'd an audiobook last year that was a contemporary romance. It was like friends to lovers. And literally the moment I DNF'd was because they were like, the main character basically shared that 6 years ago they had kissed and she really liked it. And they never unpacked that. They never talked about the kiss. I'm like, 6 years ago? And it hasn't come up once? I can't be here.
Wait, and they're still friends? And they talk to each other all the time?
And they're still friends. Yeah.
Okay, wait. There was no context of like, you know, we did so under duress where maybe one person doesn't remember and the other person does?
No, I think it was like after they kissed, like one of them got some news of some kind that was like life-changing, and they were like, oh, okay, I need to focus on this. But it's like in 6 years, it hasn't come up again that you kissed. and you enjoyed it.
Oh my God.
And you talk to each other all the time because you're best friends.
That's so unrealistic.
That's why I left. I was like, I can't deal with this. I need to
have
go.
to leave the room. I have to.
Yeah, leave the whole book.
I DNF'd a book like not even 10 minutes into the audiobook for the other reason we were talking about, which is just I did not find the main character compelling because she was like, I have to go to this really important meeting for work, like something very, very important, and I've been excited about it. And then she like left the house in her pajamas with like Homer Simpson slippers or something, and she's like boarding the bus, and that's when someone's like, ma'am, you're wearing like pajama slippers, or like she realized at that point that she was doing that, and she was like,
you turn.
Duh, oh my God, what am I doing? Well, I better just keep going anyway. And like she just left, and I'm like, you're like 3 minutes from your house, go change.
Yeah.
And also, how did you get this far and just be like, wasn't paying attention because I'm so focused on the thing that where I'm like, if it's something for work or any other professional type of setting, how is one of the first things you're not doing like, what's my appearance? Do I look professional? And now I'm ready to walk out the door, and I've done like my mental checklist like 10 times to make sure I'm not missing anything. I have paperwork, I have my stuff. Like, it just didn't make sense to me for her to just be like, I left the house and, you know, I had a big brain fart and I did this, and then I'm just going to keep going and go on with the rest of the day. We're like, you're just going to make your situation a million times worse if you're really not going to do this.
It is way better for you to turn up 15 minutes late than turning up in Homer Simpson slippers. I can't. And slippers don't even have a hard sole. Like, you would walk 3 feet out the door and go, these aren't my shoes. Like,
yeah, exactly. Where I'm like, none of this has any like actual grounding in the real world, because if you did that, you would immediately turn back around inside your house and change your clothes. It's just, it doesn't make sense. But I feel like that's good. Like, you have to know when in a book it's going to do something where you're like, this is not for me. Like, it's not going to make sense to me. So if this part doesn't make sense, and then I have to stay with these characters for like 8 more hours or however much longer to get to the conclusion, I don't feel like I'm going to enjoy anything between now and then enough to compensate for what just happened and what kind of like realism there is. I don't know. On a slightly different note, Chrissy said, I'm scared to read Red Rising 6 because I know it will destroy me, and I've been putting it off since it came out. I think this one is the one that came out last year, which is the, spider the one with the horse. What's the horse one?
One style.
Look at me. I have nothing to do with this series.
Red Rising Book 6. Lightbringer. I never would have, maybe not never, but it was not coming to me on this sprint.
It's a great sword name.
That is a good sword name. I don't know the context at this point because I finished the 3rd book in the series because it's an original trilogy, and then it kind of spins off into its own thing later, like years and years pass, and then the next trilogy happens to maybe other characters. Or again, so I think. So I don't know enough about any of these other things that are brought up in books 4, 5, and 6. But I have been putting off reading the rest of that series because, I don't know. I guess like I read the original 3 and I was like, cool, the story wrapped up. This is cool. I will continue someday. But it feels like a little distinct. And now I am worried because I do think that there's one more book coming in the series, and I do not want to end up destroyed by the end of this 6th book and just sit there waiting and waiting for Pierce Brown to do his thing. In shambles, just being in shambles. I don't know, but I do love that series, and I have been making a case for, reading more of it because I do feel like everybody who really likes Red Rising probably would like the rest of the books. They're by the same author who did a really good job. So spinoff could still be good. Oh, it is the same characters. Oh, well, even better. It's the same characters just years later, and it's a larger scope story now.
Well, how about that?
Mm-hmm. But it's also multi-POV, so it's not just in Darrow's head. That's interesting. Okay. Huh.
Is she swaying you?
Okay, but now I am afraid because what if I'm destroyed by the end of the 6th book and there is no 7th book yet for a while?
Yeah.
Then what?
Mage in the
I
middle.
mean, there's a 4th and a 5th book to get through before you get that far.
And they are thickies, so it might take me a while to get there. Okay, I mean, I did want to like read them this year anyway. This is the thing. January, you could just tell me like, what do you think about this? And I'll be like, I agree because
Yeah.
it's a new year and I'll do it. Like I'll do whatever it is.
So true.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess
Every January, I
read-
set like 20 reading goals that don't happen, but I'm like, this is what I'm going to do this year. Yeah.
This is the year. I am gonna do it. I guess I will read Iron Gold.
Is there any
Finally.
way to know?
It
when
does say that the 7th book is supposed to come out this year.
we're not being-
Is that the last book?
Yeah, it says 2025.
Okay.
7 primary works.
Oh wait, that's Red God, right?
Yes.
Okay. 7th and final book. Okay, well, this is wrong. Bing gave me a result at the top that says the release date is expected in 2024.
Yeah, I have
Yes.
been.
A little later than that, I think.
These book covers are
I
weird. I
probably
don't
could use it more
understand
often than I
how
have
this
been, but
all relates to each other.
What they're all the
covers
Red
of
Rising
books.
covers? I think they're just stylistic choices. I don't think they have anything. Well, not necessarily, but the third one with the like curved
Sorry.
blade is because he is called like the Reaper
Oh.
in. Do you know what Red Rising's about? Are you interested in reading it?
I'm never going to read Red Rising.
Okay. It's very Hunger Games ish. So when he gets like thrown into this setting, which is very similar to that, it's just less of like you have to kill each other, and it's more of just like these people who are trying to band together as their like different houses that they're under and like have their house rise out victorious at the end of it. So each of them ends up just being like nicknamed something over the course of the games because they're good at XYZ, whatever it is. So the main guy is called the Reaper because he's so good at stuff. So I guess that's why Morningstar has. Well, he's not really good at killing. That's not really his thing.
What else is
necessarily.
reaping? He's really great at harvesting wheat.
Good at harvesting wheat. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. The rest of these covers, I don't feel
Those are like a
they're
snake and a
one.
horse and a wing.
Wait, a
and a-
snake? Oh, for the next trilogy. I mean, yeah, I definitely cannot say anything about those because I don't know enough about what's going on there. I mean, maybe Chrissy knows. Maybe Chrissy
He's
knows.
got a ton of intel.
I have a feeling it'll come out next year. He is still writing it. He had a writer's block between book 5 and 6, but he's not having the same problems now. Okay, this is what I heard as well, that he was writing book 6, and then he got to a point where he was like, wait, I screwed up because I wrote something and it doesn't make sense anymore. And he basically like scrapped everything he wrote for book 6 and rewrote everything.
Brutal.
And at that point, he was
I think
like,
so.
I realized that this whole enormous omnibus of book 6 I was writing would not make sense to be the conclusion. So here's book 6, which is half of it. And I will continue to write the rest of the story of book 7, and that will come out later.
Yeesh.
And that will be the last one. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that it comes out relatively soon that I can get some closure once I get invested again. But we did read Red Rising pretty recently. So I don't feel like I need to reread the main series to do that and get going with it. Because that is always a problem I have of just like, well, now that I've decided to continue a series, I need to start over completely from scratch, as if I've never touched the series before.
Yeah, that's always quite a time.
Always quite a time. I know it's a little bit late, but do we want to do another sprint? And then
I can do a baby sprint.
Yeah, like maybe we do, what do you think, like a 20-minute
Beautiful.
sprint? Okay.
Yeah.
Let us do that. I will change it to be 50.
Okay.
And you know what I might do? Because Jon Snow is so boring, I might go grab my Kindle.
Oh,
Yeah,
are you going to read something different?
I sure am.
What you going to read?
I'm going to read A Galley.
Oh,
It is a historical romance.
What's
After I
your-
just besmirched them.
you just bashed them so hard and you're like, anyway, time for another one.
It's called This Much Is True because it's my buzzword book.
Ah, okay.
And it is about a woman named Thea who is an aspiring playwright, so we love to see it. And then the man whose name escapes me, St. James, that's his last name, Jasper. Jasper, by daylight, he's just a giant bumbling oaf of a man who's spilling wine on people and lisping. But by night, he is a highwayman who robs
It's the fact that we all
men
look
who
identical.
suck. Yeah.
It's so funny to be like, during the day, I have to be the most incompetent waiter at this bar ever. They'll never suspect that it's me. By night, I follow the worst patrons home and then I bash him.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Well, because
What
he's
a
just
time.
he's like, people are going to suspect it's me if I'm my true self. I don't know, because he's like, they didn't say this, but I pictured him like
Yeah.
6'7". Like they make him sound so ridiculously large that I'm like, this man is a giant. And
I
his
feel like if he's the largest man in town and then that is the description of
Oh, Unchosen.
the highway robber, I feel like it wouldn't be that big of a stretch to be like, pretty sure it's the only guy that is Andre the Giant size. What do you think?
I messed up.
yeah, they're like, it's weird. I got robbed by him, but I can't really describe him because like my eyes were pretty much at like the level of his belly button, so I didn't get a good look at his masked face. Oh wait, isn't Jasper St. James super tall? It's probably him.
And they're like, no. He spilled a drink last
No.
night,
Sorry, guys.
so
What-
No,
what's
that
your
guy,
name?
he wears glasses. It couldn't be him.
it
No.
couldn't be. No.
Even if
He has
it's
a
straight
list.
line, you should still go to the third
His
one.
If you list, you can't steal from
he
people.
can't steal because he's too busy.
He's too busy at his elocution lessons. He can't steal from you.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I hope that that's a big part of the plot where people are like, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm hoping because right now the whole thing is so he
Hold on, I'm taking us off the sprint screen. Tell me more.
okay, so I'm like a third of the way in. So he only steals from men, and he in particular he has an uncle who's like the worst guy, and so he's like, okay, anyone in his circle, like we're gonna start with them. And so he had this one guy who was like, okay, that's my next target. He is following, or not following home, but he's like awaiting him from this party. But the problem is that on the way to that party, Thea and her guardian, their like carriage, whatever, like the wheel broke or something. So this man who's like a creep and is trying to hit on Thea is like, I'll give you a ride home. And they're like, well, we do need to get home. So yeah. So they're in his carriage unbeknownst to Jasper. And so once the driver is like, oh, a highwayman, the gross, awful guy is like taking all his, valuables out of his pockets and like shoving them into the upholstery of the seats of the carriage. He's like trying to hide them. And then, he like opens the door and he's like, give me your belongings. I don't know. He says something cool in that. Actually, he said stand and deliver, which I never knew what that phrase meant. So now I know. Stand up and give me your stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't have anything. The women, they have jewels. Why don't you steal from them? And Thea like bursts out the carriage door. She's like, excuse me. Because she's so mad that he threw them under the bus. But like in doing so, like the awful guy like kind of tugs at her or something. And so she starts falling. And so Jasper catches her. And so like there's this whole exchange. Yeah, of course.
That starts the like slow motion K-drama.
exactly. Yeah,
multi-angle.
the wind and the yeah.
The
Um,
flowers.
I'm really selling this book, Chrissy says.
I don't know, so I'm gonna die.
um, but yeah, so then there's like that sort of
Watch this move.
tension now of like, and I was pressed
when they
against his
replace Mike by
body and blah blah
accident.
blah, and then of course he like leaves the women unharmed, and what's his face like pees his pants and is embarrassed, and they're like, well, he won't want to tell anyone about this because it was like so embarrassing that he just sucked at defending himself. But
I
then
feel like we need
by
some
day
good
she
progress.
does know him. She just doesn't know that it's him, but but she keeps, because she wants to be a playwright, she really wants to like show people that she's good at telling stories. And so she's like, oh, did you hear that we were stopped by a highwayman? And he's so scared that she's going to say something that tips people off that it's him. Like somehow they're going to figure it out via context clues. So every time she like starts to get really into the story, that's when he like trips and spills something. He's done it twice now.
So I don't know if it's necessarily that he is a bumbling person by day, but around such a story, he becomes particularly bumbling because he doesn't want the story to be told.
It's a front that he puts on all the time, but it's especially a good tactic when he needs to interrupt her stories. Yes.
Okay, double bumble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Double bumble. So on that note, I'll go get my Kindle.
Okay. In the meantime, I will look at this comment. Chrissy said, I need to start over because I read book 5 right when it came out. So I would need a refresher before I get to book 6. So are you going to start over the whole series, like Red Rising #1, Golden Sun, Morning Star, like everything? Or start over the new like trilogy, like Dark Age and stuff? And also, I think, Iron Gold, then Dark Age, and then Lightbringer. I feel like Iron Gold came out a while ago. So I don't know. I don't remember exactly when Dark Age came out either, but it definitely was at least a handful of years ago. Okay, well, no, start over from book 1. Well, I mean, I think it's a really good series and it's always very fun to reread. Every time I tell people about it and they're like, I'll read it, I'm like, now I want to read it. So I hope that you enjoy it. Okay, everybody let us know. We're going to do a baby sprint of just 20 minutes. And let us know what you're going to be doing during the sprint. If you're working or you're reading or you're doing something else. And we're going to sprint for about 20 minutes before we wrap up for the night. Sweet. So with that, we will get started and we'll see you on the other end.
Aye, aye.
Hello.
Hello.
How was your sprint?
Not too shabby. Wait, did I just type the wrong thing? Oh, whatever. I'm very pleased to say that Thea did figure out his identity because I was very concerned that I was going to have to read like 2/3 of the book before she was like, "Oh, I see." Like, so she figured it out. So proud of her.
Good. Are they like in cahoots, kind of like keeping his identity a secret?
They certainly will be. I'm certain right now. Okay, well, so here's the thing. First of all, I'm so annoyed at him because I already told you he spilled wine on one of her dresses. And then the next time she was telling a story, he like spilled a vase. So like yucky flower water got all over her dress. So he ruined 2 of her dresses, which like, mind you, these things aren't growing on trees, right? Dresses are expensive.
Right.
This party that they were at right now, they were dancing and whatever, and all this stuff's happening. And then she's like, "You're surprisingly light on your feet," to be like, "Hey, I notice you're not being as clumsy as you usually are," because she's just figured it out. And then so he on purpose, like, kind of stumbles, and then like turns them so they nearly like crash into another couple, and he like catches her so she doesn't get hurt. And then they're dancing again, and she's like, you should be careful about who you rescue because you can learn a lot about a man when you're pressed up against him like that. 'Cause she's like, "I know those muscles anywhere, sir." And then to avoid getting into this conversation, he steps on the hem of her dress and rips it. I'm like, this is 3 dresses of hers.
Oh my god.
Ruined. Like, she's not made of money, Jasper.
Her tailor was like, "What are you doing every day? You're bringing me a new dress. Something's wrong."
Distressing, yeah.
Oh my God.
But every time he has done this, he has brought her paper flowers, which is very sweet because he's like handcrafting these paper flowers. Yeah, so it's nice. But this time he left them outside at night, like he was throwing rocks at the windows and then like left, and she was like, "Aw." And so she like went out to get them. Psych. He like throws her in the carriage. She's like in her nightdress and she's like, "I'm sorry, what's going on here?" And he's like, "Why are you out dressed like this?" She's like, "I didn't expect to be kidnapped." Then he was like, "Well, take my coat. Good, this will work out because then if you get any ideas about blackmailing me, then your reputation will be at risk because you were out with me in your nightdress." And she's like, well, I had to stop reading, but I assume she's going to be like, "Why would you think I want to blackmail you? You literally the worst thing you've done is like ruin my dresses." So that's where we're at. Juicy, fun, very silly. The dumbest thing in this book, though, I have so much to say about it. The dumbest thing in this book is, I haven't read it, but I think we all know how in 50 Shades of Grey, she talks about her inner goddess, and like that's her thing. Because Thea is an aspiring playwright, every time she's thinking and she's like having some cognitive dissonance, so she's like, "No, I don't want to be thinking that," or like, pointing out something like, "I shouldn't have said that. That's so dumb." It's not her and her thoughts. It's her inner Greek chorus. Which I thought was funny the first time I read it, and now it's been about the 15th, and I'm like, we need to let this bit go. This doesn't work. It was cute as a line, not as a bit.
I always struggle when books are like, "I found one good joke."
Yeah.
And did you guys hear my joke? I'm going to say it 14 more times.
Just in case you missed it. You might have missed it. But yeah, how was your reading?
It was very good. I am on chapter 4, I think. Or did I just get to chapter 5? Hold on. No, I'm on chapter 4. Okay. So I was slightly wrong about the premise because the girl is being offered the chance to take over writing a different, like, famous author's book series because she can't continue writing it. So the main character is basically like signing up to do this to write like the last couple books in the series.
Mm.
And I guess like that author is very secretive, and I think maybe she didn't keep her identity a secret, but it's just because like she got in a car accident, she's not gonna be able to continue the series, and like the family wants privacy, and also like there's been all these like separate different tragedies that happened with their family where they're just like, I don't want to be in the spotlight right now. The main character is going to their secluded cabin somewhere
Oh.
where she's going to collect all of the author notes and things to write the book that she's supposed to be writing to continue the series for this famous author.
Hmm.
She met the famous author's husband at the very beginning of the book because they both, like, the book starts where she witnesses someone getting into a terrible accident, like a pedestrian that just gets hit by a truck.
Oh,
And
God.
all of his blood like splatters all over her, and then this guy comes up to her and is like, "Are you okay?" And
No.
he helps her like clean up and stuff like that, and gives her his like button down shirt for her as a replacement for the one that got destroyed. And then she wears that to work, and then it turns out that same guy shows up at the same meeting in a different shirt where he's like, my hotel was 3 minutes away, so I walked away, got my shirt, and showed up here, I guess. And he is the husband of the famous author. So it's like, oh, we had this weird run-in, awkward thing happened this morning, very tragic, very intense moment, and then they're in the same room for this meeting. And then it seems like there's, I wouldn't say totally like attraction, but there's definitely something where the main character is like, there's something about this guy. Like, what is it about him? So I'm nervous about what's going to happen with these folks, but she's heading to his cabin. So we will see what happens, but I'm now, I think, about 16% of the way through the book. So I think things will heat up, maybe in like 10 or 20% more of the book or something, and I will be coming back to, well, I don't know how much I will finish of this before we do another sprint or something like that, just in the future, like days from now, but
I can't wait. Can't wait to hear about it.
I'm very excited.
Dang, what a gruesome way to start a book, though. That's nasty.
Very intense. Very intense.
I mean, I cry if I almost hit a squirrel. So, like, God forbid witnessing such an accident.
Yeah. But there are, again, so many instances of, I don't know, like the way this is written, where it's just kind of like, there was someone walking into the meeting, and then the guy behind her kept like almost just barely like stepping on her shoes, and the woman was like, oh, God damn it, Baron, and then walked in. And then the main character is like, I was amused by the fact that maybe his real name was God damn it, Baron. And then they do the meeting, and then she's like, then Amanda and God damn it, Baron did this thing. And I'm like, this is the part where you just say like, Amanda and God damn it, Baron did blah, 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 blah. You don't have to give me the little in-between part where she's like, I thought that was funny. What if I call him that in my inner monologue? What would you guys think of that? Like, there's a lot of just these like, I don't know, these are like editor's notes or something that like are stuck in there that they just left in the manuscript, and we're like, we'll publish it just like that. No problem.
Yeah. Like, don't explain the joke. Just tell the joke and we'll laugh.
It's so bizarre. It's happened several times at this point already. So
Crazy.
Very verbose. A little bit more writing than I need for some of these things to happen. But
so it goes.
We will see. Chrissy said, I read 5% of The Favorites by Lane Fargo. Is this that new book?
I just heard about this, and I'm like, why does it sound so good?
I think this was on Libro FM. I definitely looked this up a couple weeks ago. I think. Let me check what it is. Libro FM. Oop, wrong section. The Favorites. Okay, yes. Oh, this is the ice skating one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
To the world, they were a scandal. To each other, an obsession. Interesting.
Yeah, because tell me why at the end of the synopsis it says, inspired by the powerful love and hate that fuel Emily Bronte's classic Wuthering Heights. Huh? Huh? Like, what a wild thing to throw in your contemporary synopsis.
Huh. It is definitely not contemporary in comparison. That is strange. Yeah. It's a book about the romance between two figure skaters, but it's more of a contemporary fic than a straight up happily ever after romance. I do like that because I feel like having some realism in there and not the guaranteed happy ending makes you root for it more, be more excited for it. But that is interesting.
The cover makes me think of the I don't know how in the figure skating world everyone is, but Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer.
That was in my immediate thought.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. As soon as I saw the cover and like what it was about, where they were like, "Oh, ice skating," I was like, "Okay, so we are doing it."
There they are. Great.
I'm really liking it. I'm 60% in. The characters are so messy.
But are they dumb? They can be messy.
I can appreciate, like messy characters are fine.
Yeah.
Because it all makes sense.
As we've established, there's a difference. Because one could even argue Katniss is messy sometimes, but it's like, it's not that she's trying to be like, oh, I don't want Peeta to know that I like him. She's got bigger fish to fry here.
Yeah. It's a different, reasoning for why someone will take certain actions. And one of them is just, I'm going to be dumb and just truly just say the opposite of what I actually feel for no reason.
Just to hurt
someone
myself.
Confesses to you and you go like, not me. I don't feel that way.
No.
And then there's the other side of things. So did the favorites come out already then? Or do you have an arc? Oh, it came out. Oh no, it's coming out tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Well, no, it's coming out on the 14th.
Oh, this says 13th for me. Publication date.
Books don't come out on Mondays.
Do they come out on Tuesdays?
They come out on Tuesdays.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah. It's a fun fact.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yeah. It was also a book of the month book.
Ah, okay.
It's, oh my God, what is that figure skating show with the girl from Skins?
I, Tanya?
Yeah. No, but sure, yeah. Wow, what the heck is it called?
I don't think I know any other ice skating media.
Hold on.
Other than Yuri on Ice, maybe.
Spinning Out. They're so spinning out coded.
Oh, Spinning Out. Wait, wasn't that also a graphic novel?
No.
Maybe it wasn't called Spinning Out. It was something else.
There's an ice hockey graphic novel. Did you say graphic novel or just novel?
I did say, graphic novel. Huh.
Oh.
Why do I know these people? Who's the main girl in Spinning Out?
She's from Skins. I just said. She was in one of the Pirates. She was in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh, was that like the fourth movie or something? Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. I think she was also in the Maze Runner.
Oh, movie. She sure was.
She looks familiar. Huh. That's cool.
Anywho.
Kea Scodelario.
She has a very big forehead. I just say this with surprise because I feel like I've looked at her so many times that I never realized.
You just said that in such a funny way.
I'm just on Google. I'm looking.
There was also that movie about Tanya Harding that was intense.
Yeah.
Is that I, Tanya?
That's I, Tanya.
Okay.
Do you watch Drew Gooden?
What?
Do you watch Drew Gooden?
No, what is that?
He's a YouTuber, but he talks about in one of his videos, he talks about when he got an ad for the I, Tanya movie, and that was like the account was like I, Tanya movie. And his wife saw it and thought it said, "It only a movie." And I think of that all the time.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
dumb. It only a movie.
It only a movie.
Which,
That's
to be
really
fair,
funny.
is how I would have read it too. So, yeah.
Oh,
man.
man. I never saw I, Tanya either.
I haven't either. I bet it's great.
Yeah.
Right?
I have
It's
only
really
heard
good.
amazing things.
Yeah.
So,
Well, anyways, the favorites on my TBR. Sounds like a fun time.
yeah.
I love some.
I always struggle with, like, what am I going to pick on? Do you do Libro? FM?
No,
No?
I don't. I refuse to pay for audiobooks. If I can't
I'm
hold
not
it in my
paying.
hand,
No, I'm talking about the influencer program.
I know. I should. I didn't know this was an option.
You should do that. Yeah. I love their influencer thing.
Nobody told me.
I'm telling you now. I feel like I always talk about this in vlogs and then I like cut it because I'm like, nobody cares about this part. And meanwhile, helping the people. Libro FM has an influencer program. So if you review any books, like a lot of books to a degree, I don't think you need to necessarily have like a huge social media presence. They're just asking for people who read a lot of books. But you can apply to their influencer program and then you get a huge assortment of arcs that are all audiobook arcs and you get to pick 10 per month and you just get to have them.
10 per month is
whenever you
so
want.
many.
It's a lot. It actually used to be more where it was just like unlimited, just download whatever you want. And I'm telling you, okay, here's what they have.
I am already a menace on NetGalley. You can't tell me this. Oh my god.
So this is everything they have for January.
Wow.
And then it usually switches over like about the last day of the month to the next
Oh my gosh.
thing. But you just get to pick like any 10 you want and you can open it up and like, read everything about it and stuff. This is where I was seeing like it's being published. This other book I clicked on is published already. But I mean, I love it. I highly recommend it. The only thing they ask for you to do is like when you do listen to it, please like share that you are listening to it through Libro.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And that's it. They say redeem by 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time the last day of the month, and redemptions reset at midnight for the next month.
What the heck
And
is
you
my
get to pick out more.
password?
So, yeah. Actually, I think, this must be like the 4th or 5th month in a row they've had this historical romance series. The Regency rom-com. I'm assuming this is part of the same series. Earl Crush,
Oh yeah. I've heard of that.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Should have done this on my computer. Would have been easier. Copy link. This is so thrilling right now. You've just made my evening.
I'm very glad. I feel like they have so many good ones that I'm always shocked to see.
Yeah.
I would say in January, there haven't been too many by authors that I recognize for me to go like, oh my God, but there are definitely some in the past. Like there was Air by Saba Tahir. There's Make the Season Bright, Ashley Herring Blake, Absolution by Jeff Vandermeer, Riley Sager's Middle of the Night, me see. I'm just looking through stuff like I've redeemed. Oh, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. 36 hours and 34 minutes.
Of course.
Oh, it is doing stuff. Dead Cattail Assassins by P. Jelly Clark.
I'll link them to my Goodreads. They're like, what's your website? I'm like, here's my whole Goodreads. Enjoy that.
There's a lot. There's a lot of good stuff. So highly recommend. And you can literally just hold on to them forever. Like they had Emily Henry's last 2 books on here, which I have not touched.
What the heck?
But yeah.
Okay. I probably should have done a thing where it's like, leave us a message if you want, like try to sell myself, but I'm just too excited. So hopefully my reviews speak for themselves. I don't know. Wow. What a thrill. Thanks for telling me.
Oh, of course. I hope you find something good that you like.
Yeah. Now oh my gosh, this is about to change everything. I'm already all over the place with audiobooks, and I'm going to be like, look, 10 more.
Yeah, for me, I feel like it's the planning again, where it's like, okay, I get 10 per month. Which ones will be released on different platforms at libraries that I already have access to? So if I have access to them there, but they won't, get the other titles that are on Libro, I'll get them there. And I'll get the other ones from Libby. And I'll get these other ones from Hoopla. And then everything is like trying to plan and map it out on a murder board to figure out my planning for the month. It's a lot.
Yeah. Like one of those conspiracy boards with all like the red string. Like, I'll get this one from Libby, this one from Libro FM.
That's literally what my brain looks like at all times, probably.
It checks
Trying
out.
to figure out the buzzword-a-thon, try and do the next thing. Wait, so do you have plans yet for like all the buzzword-a-thon?
I do.
You do?
Because I'm trying to read books that I've gotten from NetGalley that I haven't reviewed yet for all of them.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, that is a challenge. I like that though. What is your unread NetGalley amount?
See, it's funny that you ask because I was saying this earlier that it's insane to me that they are still like I still get multiple books that I request every month. They're like, here you go, here's the book, as if I don't have an abysmal feedback ratio. Like
that was what I was going to say because I feel like mine is similarly very bad.
So I believe NetGalley recommends having around 80%.
Mm-hmm.
My current feedback ratio is 18, not 80. And I have 207 unreviewed NetGalley books.
Okay.
Including the one I'm currently reading, and I think the one I can review that I finished recently.
I have to figure out what my login is on the computer because I don't remember, and I know it's case sensitive for the username, but let me see if I can do it on my phone. NetGalley. Because I know I also have a very abysmal score. Become a member. It's free and easy.
It sure is.
Okay, let's see. Profile. Oh, my feedback ratio is 35%.
Oh,
okay.
You're great, kid.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is better than I thought. I have 101 that are approved.
Yep.
And I sent feedback for 35
There you go.
books. So not
Oh, how
bad,
many have I
actually.
reviewed? 58.
Oh.
I just request a lot.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is like I go on here and this is like the dopamine rush of just being like a book. I'm interested. The cover looks fun. The premise seems nice. Okay. Request without ever acknowledging that like this is not where you add stuff to your wish list or something on Libby or something where you're like, oh, I would like to read this someday. Add a tag, add to TBR shelf. These are things where the publisher is just like, oh, you want that? Okay, well, you signed up for the commitment. Here it is. Here you go. Please review it in the next 6 months. And you're like, oh no. Oh no. I've done that for 45 books tonight only. Oh no.
But
And I
see,
do that, and then I stop for a little while because now like things flooded, or they're like, you know what, you didn't get it, and I'm like, I can't handle the rejection. Like, no, please.
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I have yet to feel the consequences of my actions. Like there are a few times where I don't get approved for something and I'm like, "Oh man." But it's also like always one of the most anticipated titles of the year. And I'm like,
Right.
well, yeah,
Or it's
why
like it's
would I have
really
gotten
hard
that?
to get that anyway.
Yeah. I try to stay on top of ones for like the people I love. So there's been a couple times where I've gotten a Kirsten White or a Sylvia Moreno Garcia, and I'm like, girl, you got to review this. You got to show Del Rey
Yes.
that we love it here because this is the moment. But
Oh my god.
everything else, I'm just like, well, if you're going to keep approving me, I'll read it eventually.
I mean, that is a good way to be. I feel like I do have a lot in my shelf that I have not touched that I got in like 2020 or something.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Chrissy, 90% is wild. That is so
90%
impressive.
is stunning. I'm very happy for you.
It's like,
I have 2 books I never got to from like 2 years ago, and I have 26 others that are in red, but they come out between now and July.
if you're never going to read those 2 books, you can go in and say that you're not going to review them, and then it won't count against your feedback ratio.
That's true. Wait, I could just do that with all of these.
True. Well, yeah, no, seriously, anything you're not going to read, go in, say, I'm not going to review this book, and then one of the options is DNF or, no longer interested or whatever.
But I do want to read these. I have.
Thank you.
Oh, this is not your
Libra FM has approved my request.
Oh my god!
Seconds.
Oh my god! Amazing.
Straight up. Thank you for
It's
reaching
time
out
for
to
you to
Libra
get
FM. This email confirms we've received your note and our team is reviewing your request. Oh, wait. Oh, no, they've received my request. They've not
Oh,
approved
okay.
it.
I was gonna
It's like,
say, who's
whoa.
working right now?
But it was like
People at
from a
Libra.
person. Thank you, Kay, for acknowledging that.
Yeah. See, the problem I have though with NetGalley, which is different from Libro, like Libro is like you can take it out and then read it whenever you want. You don't have to read it that month or anything like that. But with NetGalley, it's kind of like, all right, you have it for a while and then it archives and you can't get it back. And for me, I'm like, I do want to read these, so I have to go acquire them elsewhere.
What do you read your ebooks on?
Kindle well, now I've started doing my phone, but usually Kindle.
But if you download them on there, they should stay on there.
Some of them do, but I also have quite a few that I never, I guess, downloaded onto my Kindle because like a lot of them were graphic novels, so I wanted to read them on my computer.
Oh, yeah. I've had a few.
And then
like that too.
A bunch were also audiobooks, so I was going to read them through the NetGalley app, and I just didn't finish them. Like I started a couple and did not keep going.
Sometimes though, it'll say like expired in the NetGalley app, and then when I open the audiobook, it like goes to play. So
I have noticed that, but I think maybe I was still using like my very old phone when I was starting out on BookTube, and probably that phone, if I could possibly turn it on and let it stay charged for more than 1 second, it might work. But I think when I downloaded it onto this phone, it was like, well, we're just getting to know each other, and I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, at least for like the graphic novels, then you should definitely go in and say like, I'm not reviewing. And then I've had to do that where it was like, they don't really have an option for it. So I just typed in the box, like no longer able to access this file. And then just set it.
Yeah,
I don't want it counting against me. I can't read it anymore. I'm sorry.
It's true. Oh, see, here's A Fate Forged in Fire by Hazel McBride, which I got a little while ago, and it doesn't load anymore in the app. Oh, that says give feedback. No, how about give me the audiobook? Would that work? Send it again. Oh, it might be on my Kindle.
Oh, there you go.
Still, I don't know.
Yeah, but the books that you've downloaded on your Kindle really shouldn't go anywhere.
I don't think they're I don't know. I guess when they expire, they might go back to the library as far as, library books that go to your Kindle, but I don't know.
I have not yet had that issue. I have been reading random NetGalley books that I downloaded like 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm like, ebook.
Oh,
good.
okay, wait. So on that note, do you have something picked out for February
Oh yes.
for your Buzzwordathon?
Let me see on my list what I
I'm
have.
very interested. I think I have almost nothing. Well, I have maybe like half of them picked out. Are you also doing the book cover?
I am, which I'm also trying to do from NetGalley.
Okay.
Very big challenge for myself, but we're aspirational.
January is patterns,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you have
Do
you have one that you're like working on?
I haven't started it yet. I'm gonna read. It's called Sober-ish. It's a nonfiction book. The Science-Based Guide to Taking Back Your Power from Alcohol. It's got like stripy lines on the cover.
Oh, I see it. Oh, that's a cute cover.
Yeah. I have been interested in, because I enjoy a good social beveragino, but also research is really, really showing that, like, because, they used to be like, oh, and red wine is good for you and this, that, and the other thing. And now all the scientists are being like, we were wrong. Like, you might as well just be like smoking or whatever. And so I'm like, oh. So I'm trying to read things that help remind me that alcohol bad.
Alcohol, not always the choice to make.
Yeah. But February, what the heck is my list that I made? Hello? What even are the prompts for February?
February, the book cover is Skyline, and the word is some kind of water word.
Oh, yes. Yes, okay. I'm going to be, for buzzword for water, I'm going to do a dark and drowning tide. I guess drowning and tide are both water words. Except I have had not great luck with Allison Saff, so I am scared. But she's like one of those authors like Ava Reed, where every single concept of a book sounds amazing to me. And then I try to read them and I go, So we'll see. And for the Skyline,
did you read A Study in Drowning?
Yeah, it was okay.
You didn't like it?
I gave it like 4 stars, but I think I was being generous.
Oh, I gave it 4 stars and I liked it, but it definitely was. I always like books way more when I'm listening to them while I'm doing like Animal Crossing or something. I'm like, oh, I'm so cozy. This is so nice. And like, the characters are like really going through it. And I'm like, I'm having a great time. Like, I always just have a better time that way. Oh yeah, I didn't realize there's a second Study in Drowning book.
I'm not gonna read it.
It's not out yet. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, where have I been, really? Okay, I didn't realize all of these were by Ava Reed. I mean, it makes sense now, like seeing her name on the cover of like The Wolf and the Woodsman, where I'm like, okay, I did kind of know that, but did you?
Yeah.
I forget.
But I own Juniper and Thorn. I own Lady Macbeth.
Yes. Okay. Wait, did I read Lady Macbeth? Is that the one that I just read?
Everyone hates it. I'm scared to read it.
Matt says I read it. Okay, I think I read this one.
Matt says you did read it.
No, I did. Okay, the cover is just different, so it's not what I recognize, but I liked it, but I also did not know anything about Macbeth.
I was going to say, I'm like the worst person to read a book about Shakespeare if you're not staying true to Shakespeare.
I wouldn't know. I had a good time, but it was so funny because she meets Macbeth and then like, she's like, I guess this is to be my new husband. And I'm like, what if it's a romance? Oh my God, what if this is like, what if they fall in love? Because he's like such a brute, but maybe actually it's like, he's doing it for her or he'll change for her or whatever. And things unfold where I'm like, all right, I think I will rethink the premise of Macbeth. I don't think this is what it's. This maybe is not what it's about.
I
Maybe.
mean, I don't know what happens in the book, obviously, but I mean, yeah, in the play, Macbeth does do everything for her. Lady Macbeth
Oh,
is
well,
she's an icon. She just like negs her husband into murder. Like it's
well,
wild.
I will say that still happens, but I was saying
Okay.
like, oh, maybe he's not a murderer.
Well,
I
he's
don't
not,
know.
but he is.
But he is. Yeah, I enjoyed.
Is Banquo in the book?
Yes,
Yes. He's my
Yes.
favorite character.
I liked him.
Yeah, he's my favorite character. He better be good. Chrissy, I'm reading your strategy here, and you're kind of a genius.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta see this. Okay. I have an NetGalley account that I only use for the read now titles, so I'm not pressured to get to them. And I have my main account that I use to request that I always read and review on time. So my alternate account has a terrible score, but that one doesn't matter because I never request on it. Interesting.
That's very smart.
I mean, yeah, if you're always going to do the read now titles and you don't want to have the pressure,
Yeah.
that is one way of doing it. I do remember a booktube friend was like, yeah, I did NetGalley for a little while and then the pressure got so high, so I just deleted my account. So now I'm gone. But I'm too attached to the books that I have,
Yeah.
that I requested and I got, and then I didn't finish them, and now I wish to get them back somehow. I mean, now they're out, so it's not going to be that hard
Yeah.
to get them. But I had like a Blake Crouch book, I had a Shauna McGuire book, I had a T. Kingfisher book, I had a Fonda Lee book. Like,
You have a good collection going.
I got some good stuff. I don't know why they gave them to me, but some good stuff.
Lucky, I guess.
Just lucky. I don't know. That
Yeah.
galley score is not where it should be, but.
But again, it's like procrastination. It's like, if I don't pay for my mistakes, guess we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, if I don't learn from it, I'm doomed to repeat it. So.
I'm frankly like, I don't really care. Like I have no shame about it. It's free ebooks. I will read every book eventually. I've already
One of
gone
these
through
days.
and like called all the ones I'm no longer interested in. So
I mean, that's good. Like, you have a whole system and
Yeah.
everything, so you know when it's going to happen or not.
I'm in it to win it. I mean, do I have more NetGalley books than I would read in like 2 years' time if I only read NetGalley books? Maybe so. But but they'll all be read eventually.
One of these days.
Yeah. I still don't know where my list went.
For Buzzwordathon?
Yeah, I had them all written down. I guess I put them in my little spreadsheet, so it's fine. I'm just surprised that I deleted the list also.
Yeah, I was looking in my little spreadsheet just to figure out, like, do I have anything?
Oh, yeah. What's your February? What are you looking at?
I have nothing yet. I don't know. I'm going a month at a time. I need to figure something out for water words.
There's
I was trying to see if
so
I had
many water word books.
anything that I like really wanted to read in the next couple weeks/months. Let me see. Is there anything I need to read for secret reasons?
I
Hmm.
love secret reasons.
None of these relate to water.
Boo.
But what is that book? It's like The Weight of Water or something. That's a book.
That is the
What does
book.
that one look like? Nope, that's just okay. I googled weight of water and it said 8.33 pounds.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Book. Okay, that's not what I was thinking. Okay, there's The Covenant of Water.
There's the Water Outlaws.
Water Outlaws. Oh, this looks fun. I like that cover. Oh, it's S.L. Huang. I read an S.L. Huang book. Unfortunately, it was not a hit for me.
Oh.
But I think. Wait. Was it? I might be thinking of a different author. Let me double check S.L. Huang's backlist. I do really like this cover. That looks very
I know. Isn't it so pretty?
Oh, I like that. Uh-oh. I think I want to read it. Disgraced, tattooed as a criminal. Oh, I thought it was just disgraced, tattooed, and a criminal.
Disgraced, tattooed.
Oh, this is loading very slowly. I was going to share with everybody at home, but it is loading super slowly, so I will have to look more into it later.
I mean, saying bandits of devastating ruthlessness, unseemly femininity, dangerous philosophies, and ungovernable gender who are ready to make history or tear it apart. Hello.
I like that.
It's deep.
I mean, look, I just put it on my want to read shelf, so clearly something is. Oh, I did read an S.L. Huang book. I read Zero Sum Game, and I did not like that book. But I still really wanted to read Burning Roses.
Oh, Deep End.
What is that?
Deep End is the name of the Allie Hazelwood book.
Oh. Okay.
I was like, what is deep?
She wanted to name it Wet. The publisher went letter.
Amazing.
That's really funny.
I can't with Allie Hazelwood. I tried. It was
I haven't read any of her books yet.
It was the same thing that we were talking about earlier. I started The Love Hypothesis. Hazel immediately pissed me off, and I was like, I can't read this book, actually. Because the very first thing that we read about is her going, oh no, I don't have any contact lenses except for these years old expired ones. I guess I'll put these in my eyeballs and go to school like that. Which not only is it so like dumb and probably dangerous for your eyes, but it pissed me off because do you know how expensive contact lenses are? How would you ever end up with expired? You use those things. You need them to see.
Okay, here's what I will say. I agree with you. I also have so many expired contact lenses, but it's because I wear glasses all the time. Like I have a lot of contacts, and they're like, I actually don't know if they're expired, but they're just like, I got them 2 years ago or 3 years ago or whatever, and they're still fine. But that is, I think different from just being like, I'm going to put the crustiest things in my eyes and we'll just see what happens. Like,
well, and genuinely, whatever. Like, it's a plot point for her to be like, oh, I can't see really well. I have these old contacts. And it's like, then why even wear them?
Exactly. Like, okay, if you're walking around here like, I have 8 more floaters than I'm supposed to, you shouldn't wear those. You need to take this out.
Yeah, it really pissed me off. So I had to DNF the whole book.
Jayla's here. Hello. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel like I'm not that surprised that something like that would happen in a book like The Love Hypothesis, but I have not read it. So certainly one of the more unique reasons I've heard for someone not enjoying that book. How early? Wait, so did you DNF?
Oh, yeah.
Love Hypothesis? Okay.
So early.
Very early.
It had to be under 20%.
Oh, man. And yet,
like, why would you do
nominee for Reader's Favorite Romance in 2021 as a Goodreads Choice Award.
Hazel can catch these hands. If she was a real person and I saw her on the street, she better run.
She would never see you coming.
No.
For sure.
She would never see me coming because she has those old ass contacts in.
Did you leave a review or like say that you DNF'd it or anything?
I do that nowadays. I don't know if I did.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. It looks like I just took it off my shelf because I didn't realize I could just make a DNF shelf and that I could also leave a review without the dates impacting my like Goodreads goal. And now that I've figured all that out, I'm telling everyone why I DNF everything. It's so fun.
Man, I'm scrolling through all the like friends and community and stuff, and it is pretty much exclusively 4 and 5 stars.
The very first one I see is a 1 star.
Oh wait, I do see 2 2-star reviews so far.
Excuse me, what?
Interesting. I feel like I should read the Love Hypothesis and see how it goes. Okay, I do see the 1-star review at the top of like the everybody list.
Yeah.
Definitely a
And I have a
polarizing one.
2.45, which is very specific. And that's coming from me, who leaves very specific decimal points also.
Oh man. Oof.
I like this review that starts, I don't know what kind of drugs y'all are on, but I evidently did not receive my portion.
I did see that. Here, can I share this? Let me see. Stop screen. Great. Present. Share screen.
What are we sharing?
Select. Share. Okay, it's your review.
Oh.
Not your review, but the review.
I was like, what?
Pure agony having to read this. Yes, I was held at gunpoint and forced to finish it. Don't ask questions. I'm allowed to not talk about it. I picked this up to have something fun and easy to read in between studying, but instead I got this infuriating reading experience and a massive spike in my heart rate just from sheer annoyance. You will hear from my cardiologist. Believe me, he is not happy. Oh, man. Is every Allie Hazelwood book an Adam Driver?
I
Or
don't
maybe
know.
not specifically Adam Driver, but the Star Wars
Oh, Raylo.
Raylo like fan fiction.
I don't know. I mean, she's clearly a size queen. We can say that much about her, but what else is consistent? I don't know. How do you have so many friend requests that you haven't taken care of? That's so stressful to me.
It's because I had an idea long ago to read. So I set mine up to say like, you can ask someone a question when they try to friend you. And I said, can you recommend a book that you think is really good? And then I wanted to read those. But as soon as you say like, yes, I'll be your friend, then the question disappears or their answer disappears. So I've been saving them.
I see.
Instead of just cataloging them, which I probably should do instead for future use. But yeah, I probably should just do the beginning portion of that video where I just react to them, pick the books, and then say accept to everybody. Because some of these people are like, I found you from BookTube in 2021. And I'm like, promise I'm not ignoring you. I'm actually coveting your friend request for a future reason. People have to understand the more effort you put into crapping on a book, the more it makes me want to read it. It's counterproductive to the cause. That is the way I feel also. I feel like the more, like this person went into so much detail where they're like, I hate this character, blah, 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 blah. Then they were like, chapter 16, this happened. Then chapter 20. Then here's chapter 21. Like, there's some annotations here.
Couldn't be me. The more I hate a book, the less I want to talk about it. Get it away from me.
Welcome to Judgment Day. I hated this too. Maybe most of all.
I feel like my longest reviews are like 3-star books because I'm like trying to rationalize. I'm like, so this part was really annoying, but this part was really good. And I feel like I have to explain how it ended up so middle of the road.
I definitely know what you mean with that. I feel like a lot of my reviews are either long because they're like that, where it's like, this was good, but this was bad. Like it's the 2 or 3-star range for me, where I'm like somewhere in the middle of the two. I guess maybe more like 2-star, because it's like, well, this was good, but in the end, this part was just fine. Because usually I'm like, listen, I liked this. However, I didn't like any of this stuff at all. Let me go into detail about that, which is just, on the precipice of my 1-star reviews, which are always the longest because I have so much that I did not like. but it's just kind of the way. Wait, I never found a water book.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
the Water Outlaws could work, but I
was
want to
looking
also
up-
have a backup.
I'll look up more water words for you.
Water. Let me see. I'm sure also people have added stuff on Storygraph for.
In Deeper
Challenge.
Waters by F.T. Lukens. I haven't read that.
Waters. Oh, I do know that one. That's the pirate one.
Untamed Shore by Sylvia Moreno Garcia.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me. Untamed Shore. Wow, I don't know about this book at all.
It's about a shark.
Did this just come out?
No, it's old. That's a new cover though.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't recognize this at all.
Yeah, I love this new cover.
Coming of age noir. It's a fever dream of a thriller. Viridiana spends her days under the harsh sun, watching the fishermen pulling in their nets and the dead sharks piled beside the seashore. Well, one of them dies, eager to protect her new friends.
Dun, dun, dun.
Viridiana lies, but soon enough, someone's asking questions. It's not long before she has some of her own questions about the identities of her. Ooh, okay, that sounds good.
Our Wives Under the
To read.
Sea. There's so many water.
Oh yeah, I gotta read that. Wait, you're so right. Our wives under the sea.
Ooh, Deep as the Sky, Red as the Sea.
Oh, I read that. I really liked that.
That was my other pick that I was going to be because I have that from NetGalley too. There's actually
I
like
think
so many.
I bought that from
water
NetGalley as well, and I just like I read it separately and then I reviewed it on NetGalley later where I was like, oh, I guess I had this. Here you go.
There's many, many books with C.
Late night sprints. Hello, Laura. Yes.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed soon.
Yeah, we both were like, oh, it's late. We won't go for very long. It's been 3 hours.
In my mind, I was like 10:30, and then it's bedtime, and here we are at almost midnight. Oops.
I think I'll see if I can get Our Wives Under the Sea because I have really been wanting to read that.
Yeah.
But I also think Untamed Shore or maybe The Water Outlaws could be a good backup choice also. It's on my highly recommended shelf.
Ooh.
It
does sound so good. I really want to read it too. But it doesn't fit
Buddy
my
read?
NetGalley challenge, so
Do we buddy read? We have a buddy read that we have to do.
we already are not reading our current buddy reads.
I just found it amongst
There you
buddy
go.
read? Buddy read? I'm not joking, so I'll be texting you. What books are you looking for? Theme of Water. Yes. The Buzzwordathon challenge
For
for
February.
February is to find a book that includes water words in the title.
And
So that's why
they're-
we're looking at all kinds of different possible ones for that. Usually I hate long chatty bits for sprints, but you both are always so entertaining. I'm glad to stick around and just hang. I'm grateful. I feel like a lot of times we sprint and people are like, when's the next sprint? Hurry up. Like, it's so
Literally.
funny. Every time when we're like, we're chatting, okay? But it is very funny because we're like, we're going to do a 20-minute sprint and then talk for like 3 hours
Don't
total
worry about it.
across the whole thing.
They're not reading sprints. They're talking sprints with breaks of reading in between.
That is true. It just gives us enough time to hydrate so we can talk again for the next portion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Also, did you have a selection for the? I guess selection for me to help me out. What is it? The February one is Skyline.
Oh yeah.
I find a nice Skyline.
There are so many books with skylines.
I actually, well, maybe before I do Skyline, I don't even have one for Pattern yet. for this
Let's
month.
find you a pattern. Make a pattern. Make a pattern. Let's make a pattern. All right.
Oh, don't forget words like cry and tear and
Ooh.
drip.
And drop.
That's true. And drop. I don't think about that. That's true.
Am I looking for? Okay. I'm gonna go.
Let me see. I think I have this challenge somewhere. Oh, maybe I thought I did, but maybe I didn't join it. No,
I mean,
I did not.
I know you're not like the queen of classics, but like any cloth bound classic, like those are all covered in patterns.
That is true.
That's an easy one.
I might have a couple of those. I do feel like they're really long, but
You didn't want to just like casually read War and Peace in February or in this month even with 2 weeks left.
I have just 2 weeks. Oh my god, you're right.
Well, it's like 2.5.
Ugh. Let me see. What is this challenge called? The Buzzwordathon cover challenge?
Yeah, she also like described it that way. It was like, I don't really know what to call it.
Yeah, I remember I was seeing her video, but I guess I didn't click the cover.
Jane Steele by Lindsay Fay. It's a very patterny cover and a great book.
Wait, what is it again?
Jane Steele with an E at the end.
Steele.
Yeah. Oh, but not that edition.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of patterny, but I was scroll down.
Reader, I murdered him.
Yeah, it's a Jane Eyre retelling. Where the heck are the other editions? Book details. No, book details and editions. I'm pointing as if you can see my screen.
Oh.
That one
Oh, that is a pattern.
is very patterny.
That's really fun.
It's a good
Paperback.
Have you read Jane Eyre?
I have not.
Okay, well, don't
I
read
haven't
Jane.
read any classics.
Then don't read Jane Steele first, even though it's a great book.
Okay, I will. Oh, like maybe it's already on my want to read shelf, but
Oh.
This is very interesting.
It's a fun book. Good time. The marriage portrait like has those tiger stripes across it. That I think counts as a pattern.
Wait, this sounds so familiar. Oh, yeah.
Maggie.
Does this count as a pet? I guess kind of like
It's stripes. They're tiger stripes.
stripes.
If I was wearing a tiger striped suit, would I not be dressed in a pattern?
You got me there. You got me there. You got me on the technicality.
Yeah, it depends on if you're talking about pattern as in repeating or pattern as in like a technical term, right?
It could be either one.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, so it's the Buzzword Cover Challenge. So let me join this challenge on Storygraph. Fantastic.
Every book I read with a cover that's patterns is a classic. So I'm not going to be this early with the recommendations.
I'm going to switch to share this other screen. Share Storygraph. And we can see if any of these are appealing because these are some people's. Mexican Gothic has a pattern in the background.
Yeah, because it's like wallpaper. Beautiful.
That is,
love that.
Yeah, I don't know why. Oh no, to read is. Wait, is this saying added to your to read?
I don't know.
To read. It's definitely been on my to read, like my TBR for forever.
Yeah.
Well, that might actually already be my answer because I have been wanting to read Mexican Gothic anyway.
Don't look any farther.
Okay,
I'm sorry. These are supposed to be pattern covers. I guess there's like
stripes.
I don't. These people took this prompt in a way that I did not. A beautifully foolish endeavor. I see. Yes.
Yeah, I do. Except I really did not like the first book, so.
And that hurts my eyes.
Good luck, babe. Okay, wait. Will of the Many is a pattern? Kind of in the middle. I really want to read a
columns, which are kind of stripes. I mean, that's such a stretch.
All right, let's see skylines.
To stop the world, just to stop the feeling.
Okay, I'm gonna add Mexican Gothic to my spreadsheet over here so that I know what I'm doing.
I want to hear all about it.
And Our Wives Under the Sea. Fantastic. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Now, this is a skyline.
Okay.
So anything where the sky meets the ground counts.
Oh, I have Madame.
Madame. I've never heard of this.
Madame. I think it's like supposed to be a dark academia. I haven't read it.
Oh. Sweet bean paste. I forgot that this book existed. The Hobbit has a skyline? Where?
Says who?
I don't think so. I already read this though. Oh, that is okay. I was gonna say, where is the skyline here? There's a skyline here.
It's a secret skyline.
Very secretive. Oh, see, this would be good. The water will come if you wanted to do both.
Oh, true,
Like
true.
combine the two prompts together.
That's for the overachievers.
Yeah.
I am going to do that in April. I have a book that does both because it's animals for both. So I'm like, easy.
Yeah. I feel like that one is definitely very easy to find a combo. But I feel like I would love to somehow find a way to like combine the two. It's just I feel like I'm so behind. Like I used to be so well versed in books where I would be easily able to like pull a few different examples
I'm
of things in my
curious.
mind and then start to like puzzle piece it together. But
Mhm.
not anymore.
Where's the skyline on A Curious Beginning? Oh, in the circle? That's so subtle.
yeah.
That's a fun
Very
series.
Just barely in
Good
there.
night, Laura.
Oh,
She says good night.
good night. Thank you for coming. What else have we got? I forgot about some of these books.
The Kiss of Deception. That's a
What is
fun.
that?
fun book. The Kiss of Deception?
Did I scroll past that?
No, I'm looking on Goodreads.
Oh, okay. Oh, Babel's a great
Oh,
book, of course.
Godby.
Why does it say to read? This is
I don't
because
know what's going on in Storygraph.
it's not Storygraph's fault. It's because I already had a Storygraph account, and then it was like, we don't recommend you do this, but you could re-import on top of it because I hadn't updated it for 2 years.
Ooh.
So I imported it again without deleting stuff, and it was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm gonna have to be. Is there a skyline for Wicked? Because of course Wicked is on my list.
Probably when you open it up, because it's like a, you know, a little like peekaboo cover, like a step back situation.
Oh,
So probably-
I guess that would count. I
Yeah.
feel just because of the peekaboo cover aspect. Bandit is right next to my cookie stack.
Oh. Walk on Earth, a Stranger has a skyline.
Excuse me, I Am Legend.
Bear and the Nightingale has a skyline. How about that?
I did read The Bear and the Nightingale. Oh, The Vanished Queen. Oh, I have this book.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I remember being so excited about this book when I saw it in the library, and then I got it as a gift, and I'm very excited. Maybe I will read that. The Vanished Queen. Is this part of a series? Is
Doesn't
it?
look like it.
I don't think so. 3.61 is okay. Doesn't bode super well, but that's fine. Okay, you know what? We can give it a shot. The Vanished Queen. Hi, Bandit.
Spud paste. Adventure
Thank
Dark
you.
Mysterious. Ooh.
Yes, let me show what it's about. Political drama, vivid fantasy, a young resistance fighter working to overthrow totalitarian rulers, regime of terror and lies.
Ooh.
Truth and lies?
Yeah. Second
The
son
queen
to
vanished.
Queen.
The king claimed she was assassinated by a neighboring ruler, but her people knew the truth. The king had disappeared her himself. Now the queen's disappearance is hardly a memory, merely one among many horrors the king's reign has wrought. But when Anza, a young student impassioned by her father's unjust execution, finds the missing queen's diary, she's inspired by Marantha's words. joins the resistance group to overthrow the king.
That sounds
Does
good.
it say she joins it? Okay, I don't know. This is worded strangely.
Yeah.
Prince Esfar is the second son to an evil king. Trapped under his thumb and desperate for a way out, a chance meeting with Ansa gives him the opportunity to join the resistance. They have the leverage to move against the king, but if they fail, their deaths could mean total loss of freedom for generations to follow. Interesting. Okay, I like this very much. I think this is going to be my pick.
I'm
This is
adding
my
it.
skyline.
That sounds good.
The Vanished Queen, everybody.
Makes me want to reread Red Queen.
I really should read Red Queen.
I love Red Queen. I am unironically the most diehard Red Queen fan. I think it's a delight.
I want to read it. I think I bought a very small mass market paperback copy of it a
Ooh.
few years ago. Oh wait, no. I think I'm thinking of the Queen of the Tearling.
How dare you? The Queen of the Tearling's okay. It's not as good as Red Queen.
But so I don't have a copy of the Red Queen. My bad. But I still really want to read the Red Queen.
It's good. It's fun. Because I think when it came out initially, there was all this hullabaloo, right? Where everyone's like, oh, well, she's copying the Hunger Games and this part's like this. And I'm like, well, okay, well, one.
I like the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
So if it's like the Hunger Games, then I would like that.
Exactly. One, you're referencing a thing that she purposefully was inspired by because she likes it and it's a good story. Two, it's not a one-to-one correlation to the Hunger Games, especially as the series goes on. And three, that's also just how books work. Like stories get inspired by other stories.
That's what I always get annoyed by when people like. It's fine to say like, "Oh, it's like the Hunger Games, so if you liked that, you'd enjoy this," or like some comparisons that are similar. But whenever people are like, "They ripped this off," I'm like, "Did they? Are you like?" If that's the case, then sure, we can have a conversation about that. But I feel like most of the time they're just like, it's a heist, so they ripped off Six of Crows. I'm like, did they? Because I didn't think that Six of Crows invented the heist genre.
Did you know there had never been a heist before Leigh Bardugo wrote one?
Did you know that Leigh Bardugo actually wrote all the Oceans series, all the TV shows, and then
she's that good.
It's very frustrating to see that. Or when people are like, you know, this is the one dark academia book of like the secret history and everything else is, you know, something comparable to that is like, you know, it's not always the case in that way. So I think some comparisons are a little bit more harmful than helpful. But I guess it's all about also the way you take it. Like if people are upset that that comparison is being made between Red Queen and Hunger Games, I'm not mad about it because if you like it, odds are I trust your opinion. Like it's probably a good book.
I mean,
so
I'll say this. I'll say this. It's very easy to sway me to like your book if you have a love triangle that involves two brothers. So she got me there. But I also think the book is a fun time, and you know, it's got similar things to the Hunger Games in terms of like talking about like rebellion and you know how like trying to do right but doing wrong in trying to do right, like that kind of complicated thing. It's got some of that conversation. It's got the little like romancy vibes. It's got powers. That's different than the Hunger Games.
That sounds super different.
Yeah.
I think that was like the main thing in the Hunger Games was that they had no power. So they had to do things a different way.
Right. Well, and that's why now Powerless, everyone is like, Victoria Aveyard copied this book. And everyone's like, this book has come out a decade ago. And Powerless came out like 2 years ago. So what are you talking about? Yeah.
Foolishness. Foolish hearts. Really.
Back to the
all of you.
Foolish hearts. Okay, I need to sleep.
Well, on that note, I think it's a good point to wrap it anyway. So thanks for those of you on the East Coast for sticking with us till midnight. And it was very fun. We'll do sprints again sometime soon. Julia, do you have anything to plug?
No.
Okay. Well, you can
Follow
find
me on
Julia.
Instagram.
You can find Julia, at least her booktube channel, in the description link
Yeah.
below.
And that's my Instagram, so you can find me there. Why can't
Follow
I
her on
keep it out my
Instagram.
hands?
There you are. And good night. Thanks so much for coming, and we will sprint again sometime soon. So in the meantime, we will see you somewhere on the internet. Thanks,
So
everybody. Bye, everyone.
Night.